Hi friends, welcome back. We're going to talk today about box and whisker plots. This is pretty exciting. This is a way we manage our data. So when we're given some information, we need a way to organize it and to kind of to analyze that data. Let's pretend these are test scores. Let's say it's out of 60, not out of like 100. That would be terrible. This is our data that we're given here. The very first thing you want to do when you're doing these is you got to put them in order. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do 37. And when we put them in order, I think it's really helpful if we write them on the left-hand side. Okay, so 37, 37, 41, 41. Awesome. All right, guys, I jumped a little bit ahead so you could see. I'm going to continue putting the rest of these on here. It looks like we're going to have, and I'm going to back this up just a little bit, we're going to have 53, 53. Cross those guys off. And then we've got 55, 55, and 56, 56. Make sure I got all those. 55, 55, 56, 56. Okay, so now we have all of our data here on the left-hand side. What you want to do is we have to, in order to do a box and whisker plot and to analyze our interquartile range, our IQR, we have to find our 5 points of data. The first 2 points are pretty easy. It's your minimum and your maximum. So once you have your data in order, we've got our minimum, we got our maximum. Bam, easy peasy. Let's do this. Now, our next one is our median, and your median is found by like dividing up your information into 2 equal chunks here. So let's count. We have one, I'm gonna put 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right, so if we have 17 pieces of data, let's round that down to 16. Half of 16 is 8, right? So if we have 8 on either side, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're gonna circle this guy and you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that 48 lands right in the middle. This is helpful when we have an odd number of data. Sometimes it's even though, and your median can lie in between 2 numbers. And we'll talk about what that when that happens, what we do. So this is our median, AKA our Q2. That's gonna be 48. Now what we have to do is we have to divide these chunks into something that is just as equal. All right, so we've got to divide these guys up into equal parts. Essentially, we're just looking for 4 equal parts. Well, remember, we counted this as 8 right here, and half of 8 is 4. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll find that if I draw a line right there, that separates these 2 pretty equally. Like I said, sometimes it can land on a number, sometimes it can land in between numbers. When it lands in between numbers, we can't pick 41 or 44 because that's not very fair. We need to pick something that's exactly in the middle of those 2. Sometimes it's pretty easy. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Like if you have 38 and 40, you know that 39 is right in the middle. Other times it's not, but we can do a little mini average here to figure that out. All we do is we take 41 plus 44, and you'll see that we end up with 85. Cut that in half, we get 42.5. So right in between 41 and 44 is 42.5. Folks, this is called your Q1. Q1, your first quadrant. Okay, then we're gonna do the same down here. We have 8 here, so we're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna go right in between here. Now this one's kind of easy. What comes between exactly in the middle of 53 and 55? That would be 54. So our Q3 is 54. So if you look at that now, we have our 5 points of data. Our first one is 37. Our second one is 42.5. Our third is 48. And our fourth is 54. And our fifth is 56. 56. Okay, now 2 things. First things first, we got to find our IQR. Our IQR, and guys, remember, you should be writing these down because that'll be helpful for your notes. So our IQR is called our interquartile range. Our IQR is our interquartile range. These are each quartiles, quarters, right? There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our IQR is found by doing Q3 minus Q1. Q3 minus Q1. So what's our IQR for this data right here? We have 54 minus 42.5. All right, so if we do that, we end up with 11.5. Our IQR is 11.5. That IQR is actually pretty handy when we get up into outliers. So we'll talk about that probably next year. Okay, so we've got our interquartile range. The other thing that we need is our regular range. Our range. And our regular range is just taking that maximum minus the minimum. So our maximum is 56 minus 37. So 56 minus 37, end up with 19. So our range is 19. Awesome. All right, guys, so this is what we're going to do for our IQR. Not our IQR, for our box and whisker plot. I'm going to take that data right here, 37. Those 5 points of data are what are going to be critical here. And we're going to write those down here. So how do we do this box and whisker plot? These numbers are going to be important, but you want to make your box and whisker plot look nice and clean. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go by fives, but we're going to do 35 through 60 because that'll capture. I can't do 55 because I have a 56 there, so I want to make sure. So if we draw our line like this, and even if I say 30, 40, 50, 60, no, so 30, 40, 50, 60, let's say 30, 40, 50, and 60. All right, so I've got my data somewhat evenly distributed on my line here. Now in the middle, I'm going to put like, that's 35, right? 45, so I'll just write that in there. 35, 45, 55. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It got kind of small at the end there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so now that I have my number line here, I can put these points of data onto my number line. Now, you don't actually want to put it on your number line. You're going to put it right above. So we're going to say 35, 6, 7. That goes right here. 42 and a half is going to be right about right there. 48, 46, 47, 48 goes right there. 54 is going to go right there. And 56 is going to go right here. Okay, now that you have your dots down, you got to do your box and your whiskers. The 3 on the inside is going to be your box like this. All right, and then you do your whiskers that attach like that. And now you have your box and whisker plot. Awesome work, friends. Good job.